What is going on YouTube today? I'm going to show y'all how to tie what I call the poor man crappie jig. I don't tie these and sell them on our website, but I do make these and use them, and I got a couple buddies that swear by them. I make a couple different ones, but today I'm going to show you my brown and pink one. And I mean, I don't really have a recipe or nothing for this. I mean, I use whatever thread I got loaded up in the bobbin at the time that I want one. And yeah, but your tools are going to be, of course, your vise, bobbin, thread. And the reason it's called poor man's because we use yarn instead of real chenille. Because I don't tie enough of these to buy a chenille. And like I said, I don't sell them. I just make them for me and my friends. They catch fish. So we just use yarn. I mean, this is brown, and I got like a pink and a green. It's the only colors that I make them in. You're gonna need your scissors and a jig head. So I'm gonna show you how to take this and turn it into this. So here we go. So I don't really tie a whole lot of these. I mean, I tie some for friends and whatnot. I mean, this is by no means a jig I would sell or anything. I just kind of tie these for some buddies. But we got a 16th ounce egghead, number 2 hook, and we're gonna get our thread started on here. Trim that. We're gonna come all the way back to about right here, about where the barb is on the hook. And this is streamer hair and pink. And what I did is I got a little hole right here in the side of the bag. Instead of pulling it out and dealing with all this, I just kind of tease some out. And I'll probably trim this. So I'm going to cut off a lot more than what I need, just because that gets so thin back there. I want to keep it a little bit thicker, but I like to take this and twist it. It gets it all up in a little ball. Put it on there and just kind of wrap back over the top of it. Try to get it to lay down some. I mean, this ain't got to be touching turns or nothing. And now we're going to wrap all the way back to it. There, and lay that out. We're going to size this up now. We'll go about right there. So now it's got a little tail on it. We're going to take our flash, and we're going to cut off 2 or 3. I'll go 3. Can't grab 3. No, we're going 4 because it's all I can grab right now. And we're going to take these, set them in. We're going to tie these in right in the center. And then what I like to do is just kind of make a long wrap back. And that's going to let us fold this over and wrap back over the top of this. Now that flash ain't going nowhere. With it being wrapped, after I folded it over, this flash it's going to break before it gets pulled out. And we're going to come back here and trim that just past the tail. And everybody uses chenille for their crappie jigs. And like I said, I don't tie enough of these to go and buy chenille, so I use yarn. And I'm doing this in just a brown. And I'll pull off about an arm's length. And I won't even use a whole arm's length on it. You can probably trim that down some more. I always like to have more than what I need. And we're going to just tie this in where it'll hold. Get over that little bump there. we're just going to come all the way back. Now we're going to start wrapping this. We're going to wrap this all the way up. To where the head sits, and I'm going to wrap over it again. Now we're coming back towards the our tail on this. And if you put this on tight enough, you can just kind of lay it across fairly rough and you can't notice it. I'm going to go over this about 3 times. I'm going back to the head now. Keep that running. And tie it in. Got that. Trim that off. I mean, that's about how much yarn we got left. And I mean, I'll probably do another little skinnier one out of it. We're going to fill this in. And there they are. Now we're going to take our feathers, our hackles, depends on what you want to call them. And we're going to try to pick out 2 fatter ones out of this. I want them about like that. And now you can take these and set them on this jig like this, or like little swim fins or something. And that works great. I do that a lot. But the reason I'm looking for these bigger ones is because we're going to wrap these around the collar. So I got me 2 good ones here. And I don't want none of this fluffy stuff right here. So I'm going to pull that back and I'm going to cut it off right there. So cut that off, and you're going to cut off some of the barbs and stuff on it, and even if you don't, you want to pull them off like that. You just want to give you something to get a hold of on that jig when you wrap it on here. So we're going to lay that down. And these feathers seem to want to turn on you a lot, so I really get those put on. Now I'm going to do the same thing with this feather. Clean that up some. Same thing. We're gonna set that on there and just give this a few good wraps in. Now what I'm also doing when I'm tying these ends, I'm doing more wraps than what I need, and it's to try to keep about a uniform shape. And I ain't got no hackle pliers or nothing, so I'm just gonna take this and you're just going to lay it down on here. You're going to wrap it around, keeping each wrap in front of the last. And we're going to come in and tie that off right up by the head. And you want to get in here and trim that down as close as you can get it. And you want to try to pull all these back. You want to get that tied off, and I try to keep from having fur or anything sticking off the front of my jig, and I still ain't quite figured the art of doing that out yet when it comes to working with these feathers. These things get everywhere, and you see that one there really added a lot to this. Really made everything else get thicker. Now we're going to come in and trim that out. We're going to try to get all these pulled back and get us a good collar there. I like a thicker collar, more pronounced. And now we're going to wet our fingers. And we're going to wet all these barbels up on these feathers. It's going to cause them to stick together and lean back. Sorry I keep scratching my eye. I got into something and rubbed my eye and it is aggravating me. But we're going to whip finish this off. We're going to take that one there, snug it down. We're going to get one more in this. Pop that off. Roll this back. Trim our thread. And now we want to put a dab of glue where we just cut those threads. That's really the only place we want to get any glue, is right there on top of that. Just because of these feathers, it's really hard to control trying to get the whole thing. So we just want to focus on that piece right there. Cap our glue back up. And the fun part of trying to grab this and not get covered in glue. But there we go. See, it's flared out. It's got the body and a little tail to it with some flash. And we catch plenty of crappie off of these. And we do not sell those on our Emerald Fin custom tackle page. Just, I mean, I feel bad charging somebody $2 for a crappie jig when I know I used yarn on it. But I mean, if y'all specifically message us and ask for that jig, I will make it and sell it. But I'm not gonna offer it just so other people can bash me about using, you know, non-name brand products or this or that. But yeah, check us out on Facebook. Obviously, you got us on YouTube. We got a Instagram and a Twitter account too. We're not too active on Twitter, but Instagram and all that other stuff, we're pretty good about getting on there and keeping everything updated. But I'll leave a link to our Facebook down below. Appreciate it, you guys.